everyone, this is Sara and welcome to my crochet channel. Now today's video is one of our Christmas in July 2018 new pattern releases. This is the Candy Cane Jar Cozie. It fits your standard 16-ounce jar and is the perfect size for a cold eggnog or a warm apple cider or maybe a Christmas cocoa. They also make great gifts for those ugly sweater parties because the cozy resembles a sweater. Now you'll notice it has this neat stripe that sort of twirls, and that's why I called it the Candy Cane Jar Cozie. And another thing is, although you can use it to drink from, you can also use it as a place setting. Just take the lid off, gather up some candy canes, I stick them inside, and now you've got a great decoration, and you could use these as place settings and send them home with your guests to remember your holiday party or maybe your ugly sweater party. Now this is a free crochet pattern on my blog, and you can find that blog link down in the notes underneath the video. To make a cozy, you're going to need a 16-ounce jar. I love these mason jars. I got them in a pack of 12. I use a screwdriver and a hammer to make the hole for the straw. And you can do it that way, or you can not put the straw in at all. It's up to you. And then you're going to need 3 different colors of yarn, and I'm going to be using these 3 colors. Now these are, I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby in the metallic, the green, the white, and the red. Typical Christmas colors. But for today's demonstration, I'm using these 3 colors. This is a blue, a white, and a pink. And I believe that the blue and the pink are Red Heart Shimmer, or Red Heart with Love Sparkle. I cannot remember. I don't have the packaging for those anymore. But you can use any worsted weight number 4 acrylic yarns. And if you prefer, you can make it out of cotton as well. Both of them work up just fine. We're going to be stitching today with our H hook, which is a 5.00 millimeter crochet hook. You're going to need a needle for weaving in your ends, and then you'll also need a pair of scissors. We're going to begin with the bottom, and I'm going to be using this white sparkle for the bottom part that is green on this one. I'll use the pink and blue for the stripes, and then I'll end with the white and the white bow where this one is green. Alright, so let's make our slip knot, and then we'll chain 5. We're going to join the chain 5 into a circle, so we'll put the tail over our hook and pull it through the last loop, and then we'll make our little stay knot. Just like that. We'll put our hook through, pull up a loop, and chain 3. The chain 3 counts as 1 double crochet. So we're going to stitch 11 more double crochets so that we have a total of 12. And if you can't remember how to do a double crochet, yarn over, go in the stitch or chain or loop, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, and go through the second 2. That's our double crochet. So now we have 3. Alright, let's count, see what we got here. Here's our chain 3. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I need to stitch one more. There's 12. We're going to join to the top of the chain 3 with a slip stitch. You put your hook through, pull up a loop, and then pull that loop through the loop that's on your hook, and then we'll chain 3. So now we have 12 double crochets for row 1. For row 2, we're going to place a double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3, and then we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in each of those double crochets. And since we started with 12 on row 1, on row 2 we're going to have 24 double crochets. I'm just going to continue around, stitching 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets around, and then I'll join to the top of the chain 3. I have 24 double crochets around because I stitched 2 in each of those 12. I'm going to join to the top of the chain 3 with a slip stitch, but I'm only going to chain 1. And we're going to place 1 single crochet in each of the 24 double crochets around. And so that's going to give us 24 single crochets. A single crochet, you put your hook through, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through both of those loops. And we're placing 1 single crochet in each of the double crochets around. I've stitched my single crochets, 1 in each of the 24 double crochets. I'm going to join to the first single crochet, not the chain 1, but the first single crochet with a slip stitch. And then I'm going to cut my yarn, because we're finished with this color for right now. We'll bring it back in at the top, but we're finished with it for right now. So the next thing you're going to need is your 2 colors that you've chosen for your stripes. And I'm using, like I said, the blue and the pink. So I'm going to bring in my first color, snug that down, and chain 3. This chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. Now I'm going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next single crochet. Only I'm not going to finish it. I'm going to bring my pink color in and finish that double crochet. Alright, now what we're going to be doing is stitching over the color that we're not using. Get my tails out of the way. Alright, so we're switching to the color 2, which is my pink. So I'm going to place a double crochet in the next single crochet. Then I'm going to start my next double crochet. Get the tail out of the way again. And I'll do my first pull through. Then I'll switch back to my blue, or my color 1, and finish that double crochet. And this is the way that it'll work all the way around this row. So I'll stitch my next double crochet, and you can see I'm pulling the other color along and stitching over it. Then I'm stitching a second double crochet, yarn over, and I go through the first 2 loops, then I yarn over with the previous color and finish those 2 loops. And the reason that we do it this way is it gives us a much neater appearance. If I were to go ahead and finish that double crochet before I changed colors, I would end up with the loop of the previous color showing. Let me show you. if I finished it this way, the loop from the previous color would be on the top of my next color. So instead of having it look messy, when we do that second double crochet, we go through, pull up a loop, yarn over, and only go through the first two. Then we change colors and pull that through. So we'll do our next double crochet, then we'll do our next one, only doing half of it, and then finish it with our next color. And this gives us nice, even looking stitches, and also neat looking stitches as well. Alright, I'm going to do it again slow so that you can see. Alright, so we're going to do our next color. We're stitching across the tail of yarn from behind, and we finish our first double crochet. Then we're going to do the next one. We'll do half of the double crochet, then we'll pull up our next color and finish that double crochet. See how that looks? Nice, neat, 2 stitches. And this is the way that this row will work. 2 double crochets, every other 2 double crochets, switching back and forth, making sure that you stitch along the tail of yarn, I should say the working yarn, because we're working from our skeins, so that it stays underneath. See how I'm going across and stitching over that yarn. I'm bringing up my new color, and now I'll do the next one. I'm going across the next color yarn. And we'll do this all the way around for this row. Take it nice and slow, and until you get used to it, it might be a little bit clumsy, but like I said, go slow and it'll work out fine. When you get to the end of this row, we're going to join to the top of the chain 3. Get in there. And then we're going to slip stitch in the next double crochet, and we're still using the same color, and then chain 3. And the reason that we slip stitched one over is because it's going to help it go at a slant. Alright, so our chain 3 counts is our first double crochet. So then we're going to double crochet in the next double crochet, and then we're going to finish it with our blue. So we'll pull that back up, or our color 2. Let me pull more yarn out here. So now we're going to continue with the 2 of one color and 2 of the next. But you'll notice that our first stitch will be in the opposite color. And this is how we get that sort of twirl. Because we're offsetting it by 1. Here's our first double crochet. Now we're doing the second one. And you can see it's all off by 1. Let me grab this so that you can see it. Each row, when we join, we'll slip stitch in the chain 3, and then we'll slip stitch in the next stitch and then chain 3. And that will cause each row to be off by 1, so that we get this little bit of a twirl effect. Alright, now something that you might run into is you'll notice that your yarn will become twisted. So what I do is I just take a break and just kind of turn it around like this a few times just to get it untwisted, because it's very annoying when you're going back and forth from color to color to have your yarn twisted. And then I just use my thumb and sort of pull between those yarns. Alright, so let's continue on with row 2. We're doing the same thing. Our first double crochet is a whole stitch, and our second double crochet is only the half stitch. And then we finish with our next color. And I know this seems just a little bit confusing, but this is one of those patterns that it will help if you just take your time and really pay attention where you're putting your stitches. Because like on this second row, our first stitch is the opposite color for the 2 double crochets, and then the second stitch is the same color. And we'll switch back to our pink, or our second color, and see I'm stitching my first one in the opposite color that I'm working with. Now I'm going to stitch my second double crochet and finish with the other color. And you can see that it's already offset by 1. And we'll continue around this row exactly like that. One thing that I have learned on working this style of crochet is that it does pay just to stitch a little bit looser if you can. You know, not loopy or droopy, but just a little bit looser than maybe you normally stitch to help it lay better and make it a little bit easier for you to work with. Alright, so I'm going to continue on around stitching just like this, 2 double crochets of each color, and they're off centered by 1. I completed this row, and you can see that it's all off centered by 1. We're going to continue using our blue that we ended with our last 2 stitches. We're going to slip stitch in the top of the chain 3, and then we're going to stitch a slip stitch in the top of that next double crochet, and then chain 3. And again, we're going to be stitching it over by 1. This blue chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. Then we'll double crochet in the next stitch. And we'll finish this with our next color. And now we're going to repeat what we did on the last row. Our first double crochet will be of the opposite color. Then we'll stitch our next double crochet and finish it with our next color. And you'll begin to see the stripes starting to show at a slant. 1 double crochet, and then another double crochet, finishing with the next color. Then we double crochet and do our second double crochet, finishing again with the next color. See how you can see those slanted stripes starting to pop out? And we'll continue around with this row the same way we did with the previous row. 2 double crochets of each color and changing colors through those 2 loops in the second double crochet of each set. I completed the 6th row, And just a reminder, when you get to the last double crochet, you're going to finish that double crochet with the same color. We're going to slip stitch and to join with the chain 3, and then we'll slip stitch in the next double crochet and chain 3. Alright, and again, that chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, and then we're going to repeat what we did in row 6. We'll place a double crochet in that next double crochet, completing it with the next color, and then we'll go back and forth like we have been doing. 1 double crochet, and then 1 double crochet, finishing with the next color. And we'll work this all the way around for row 7. Two double crochets of each color and finishing the second double crochet with the next color. Alright, so now you can really see those stripes. And this is row 7, and you'll need to complete this up through row 11. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's this row plus 4 more, doing exactly what we've been doing. 2 double crochets, finishing the last of the 2 of each set with the next color, and 2 double crochets. And remember, when you get to the end of the row and we join, the last double crochet, you use that same color to finish that second double crochet, then you join and then slip stitch and chain 3. And we'll do this up through row 11. I completed my rows up through R11, and you can see the fun striping effect that you get. And just a reminder, I want to make sure you understand, when you do your last double crochet, finish it in the color that you're working, and you do that on every row. We're going to join to the top of the chain 3 with a slip stitch, and we're going to cut both of these yarns. Leave yourself a nice amount so you can weave those in neatly. And then we're going to bring in our white again. We'll just join that right in. And whatever trim color that you're using, we're going to be doing the top of our jar now up here. A row of double crochets and a row of single crochets. So we'll chain 3. And we'll just place 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. We changed colors, and we're stitching 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. And when we get back around, we'll join to the top of that chain 3. One double crochet in each double crochet around. We're going to join to the top of that chain 3 with a slip stitch, and we're just going to chain 1. And this last row is just 1 single crochet in each of the double crochets. And also, when I do this last single crochet row, I try to snug it in just a little bit tighter, just to help it fit around the top of the glass jar better. And if you feel like you're not getting your stitches tight enough, You can always go down to a G hook just for this row if you want it to be just a little bit tighter. But I find it just works great if you just pull it just a little bit tighter. Then you don't have to change your crochet hook. Whatever works best for you. I completed that row of single crochets. I'm going to join to the top of the single crochet, not the chain one, and cut our yarn. I'm going to pull the loop to the back to try to hide the join a little bit so it just looks a little bit neater. There we go. And of course I do have some weaving in to do, but we'll do that after a bit. The last thing we need to add is the little bow. And it's super easy. You can use white or whatever color that you want to. I think just because I want it to stand out a little more, I'm going to use the blue. And all you do is you make a slip knot and you chain 25. Alright, so I've chained my 25 and I'm just going to tie off. I've already cut my yarn on both ends and I'm just going to make a little knot and try to pull it really close. And we'll do this on the other end as well. Alright, and so what we'll do, here's the back. I'm going to try to center that better. Alright, and I'm just going to go through 2 stitches between the rows. Here's my double crochets, there's my singles, and I'm going through those rows. I'm just going to pull that through there. Even it up. I'm going to tie a little knot. And you can leave it like that if you want to. I just like putting the little bow. And if you want your bow to be a little bit longer, you of course can make it longer. I just kind of liked it small because it is a cozy and I don't want it really to get in the way. So here's the 2 candy cane cozies. This one's made in traditional colors and this one's made in pink and blue sparkle with a little bit of white. So you can make them traditional or not by the colors that you choose. And once you figure out that simple stitch of moving back and forth from the 2 colors, you'll find it turns out just as cute as can be. And I absolutely love the striping effect that these jars have. And that's how you make my candy cane jar koozies or cozies.